Thank you so much, moderator. And I'm so delighted to be in this session where, again, Human Capital International is bringing us together to discuss a very important segment of the private sector, the SMEs. And this time they are focusing on women and the youth. And I want to first make very general comments before I can go to my substantive presentation. The first one is that Africa is a young continent, largely full of young people. If we do not tap on them, they will play a negative force. That's one. Two, entrepreneurship is an open space for everybody, irrespective of your age, provided you have got something to sell. Nobody goes to the market and is asking for the age of the seller of eggs, tea, meat, shirts, dresses, transport. They are simply saying, transport me from here to the other place. Again, telling you that entrepreneurship is available for all ages. Three, if Africa does not take advantage of the current opportunities we have in the continent, the rest of the globe is going to come to Africa and exploit these opportunities. And the people who are going to be coming to the continent are not necessarily going to be old, mature people coming to take advantage of what's happening in the continent. It will be youth from Europe, youth from Asia, heading to a continent of opportunity and tapping into it. I'm driving a message home here. It is time for the youth of Africa to take advantage of what's happening in the continent. We are the next frontier and destination of investment. If we don't take advantage of what's here, the way God has said, He says, if you have nothing to contribute, even the little benefits you have will be taken away. So the continent of Africa is in our hands, and we need to take advantage and guard it. But as I conclude on my closing opening comments, the last one is saying that the word youth implies that you cannot be a youth forever. You're a youth, but for a season. After some time, you go over to the other age bracket. Now, if you have not used your youth age well, you go to the other side when you're a bitter person. You are more dangerous than a young person, more dangerous than a youth. So this is the moment for the youth to be directed to make better use of their energies. With those comments, I have a presentation to make. I hope my machine can work. Where's the, oh, it has come? Oh yes, by the way, that one permanently. Permanently. So the first comment I have there is that African youth are living in interesting times. I didn't want to go for the negative word which is saying conflicting times. Conflicting, that there is the benefit and there is the negative. But the interesting times are that traditional jobs are vanishing or reshaping. Robotics and artificial intelligence are taking away some of the traditional jobs we used to have. And it will tell you banking is changed now. People who used to line to pay school fees, and you have got 2,000 people reporting to a bank in 2 days. Today you don't see even one, but the school fees is being paid. Technology has taken over. Accountancy the same. Engineering the same. Whether you are talking of manufacturing, mechanics, construction, technology is doing a great job. Now, what that is doing is, whereas we have gone for those courses, very few will practice what we call pure courses the way we used to have them before. Two, if you miss to get the so-called good jobs, you are likely to get some modest entry job, which will pay you modest salary, which salary will not recoup the investments you've made in education. On average today in Uganda, and I know in most African countries, a 3-year degree course in Uganda is about 12 million. 12 million is 3,600. That's the money you are paid at the university to get that degree. But this job that you have gotten, if you are lucky, it will pay you 100,000 shillings. 100,000 shillings, sorry, 300,000 or 350,000 shillings is an equivalent of $100 in hard currency. Now, if somebody is earning a salary of 350,000, then you put in the expenses of living, transport, and everything else. The net that person, when I calculated, can save is $6 in a month. Now, $6 in a month, if you divided 3,000 by 3,600 by $6, you get 600 months of earning a salary. You need to work for 600 months earning a salary to just save $6 per year. And if you divided that, you'll find that if you divided the 600 months by 12 months to get the number of years of working to recover the 3,600, you need to work for 50 years. 50 years of working, saving minimally, and then you end up with basically a person who is rugged, because by that time you'll be 70 years. But you have just recouped the investment in education. Number two, these jobs that are paying you low pay are basic jobs, not challenging. Compared to what you studied at the university, it's not stimulating. What does that do to you? You become disillusioned. If you are disillusioned, you are not productive. What does the employer do? He doesn't promote you. What does the employer then do? He promotes somebody with a lower qualification but more committed. That person becomes your boss. He has less paper qualifications, but he's a better employee. He becomes your employer, and that gets you to become even less committed and less self-driven. Because of that, when job shakeups come and organizations are restructuring, the unfortunate message is it's the young people first out of the door. It is common in Uganda, it's common in most African countries, and the scenario is created by this picture I've just talked about here. But the next slide is putting something good to the message, the silver lining. It says there are many opportunities through the gig economy. This word GIG never used to exist. Today we have this word. A gig economy places more premium on completion of the assignment as opposed to the long-term employment of somebody and saying you have a job of 2 years, you have a job of 10 years, a job of 5 years. In a gig economy, they tell you, tomorrow supply us 50 chicken. This is the price we're giving you. When you supply the chicken, we pay you on time. So the youth will jump out in the morning, take initiative, take charge of the entire assignment, deliver the chicken, gets paid, and you're out. No residual obligation from the person who has taken the chicken. Those, therefore, with limited education under the gig economy, but with the right work ethic, have a chance to earn and build careers. And the ability to take up an assignment and execute it well opens more doors for repeat orders and many job offers from the market. And our youth are doing that. Now, if our youth are doing that, and they continue to multiply the clients and generate loyalty, what does that mean? It means our youth can be able to create an entrepreneur that can move a business from micro to small, small to medium, medium to large. And the lesson I'm driving at here is the youth we have today, whereas the jobs are limited, these people are impressionable, they are flexible, they can be taken into enterprise business, enterprise management, and they can afford to do any type of a job. Now, I have an example there, which I want to give you as a person that Enterprise Uganda took on when he was still in his last year at the university. This case study illustrates what the African youth today should be seeing as an opportunity in the continent. This is a case study of a young man from a remote village in Uganda called Yasin. He was born into a rural mom, very poor, and the mom was a single mother with 7 children. This young man, after Enterprise Uganda training and getting the business mindset, started a business with limited pocket money while studying. He was at the university in his 3rd year, limited money while studying. Every weekend he would report to a village where they collect fish, and he buys the fish. For the 12 months he was in his third year, he was traveling 120 kilometers going, 120 kilometers back to Kampala, a total of 240 kilometers every weekend to go and buy fresh fish and come and sell them in Kampala. His startup capital was $140. He repeated those trips, and that money grew to $1,400. In Ugandan shillings, he started with 500,000. By the time he was leaving the university, it was 5 million in 12 months. At 29 years today, he has seen exports 3,500 kilos of fish every day to Kenya. Not a month, not a year, every day. He sells the same volume to people in Kampala, in Natete, and in Boise every day. 29 years old. Using the income this young man has been able to build up in 4 years, actually now 5 years. He has built 3 houses in Jinja for rental. He has bought 6 lorries for transporting his fish. 6 lorries. He employs 51 staff. One of them is a lady who is the internal auditor with a degree in auditing. He has got 3 graduates he has employed. The sales per year, $1.2 million. He says his profit on that figure is between 10 and 15%. That is a decent $100,000 net income per year. Initially made he progressed to 1,400. Now every year is getting better by $100,000. The young man did not go anywhere to borrow money. The young man did not go anywhere to be connected to anybody. The entrepreneurial mindset within the continent of Africa opened for him great opportunities. What has he done to the mom? He has built for mommy a permanent house with electricity, with water. He now educates all the other children, the relatives. He says he spends an average of 5 million shillings, and for those who are not Uganda, that's $1,400 every time to educate his siblings. I want to say this, the story of Magino is not peculiar. It's not only in Uganda, it's everywhere in Africa. If you check anybody who is listening to this symposium now, anywhere in Africa, check the story of a successful local entrepreneur. At what age they started, what they started with, how basic the type of a business they started with, the location, very similar to the story of Magino. Limited resources. Whether you talk of Dangote, whether you talk of whoever across the continent of Africa, most of the businesses in Africa were started by youth. So the youth who are listening should never be imagining that this is the first time we are calling on them to start running youth-led enterprises. It has been the norm. It will continue to be the case. But what are the learnings from this story? Because that's very important. It is those learnings there that we need to replicate and make sure they become part of our conversation. The key learning from Magino's story or Yasin's story is true entrepreneurship, not the one where you beg somebody and say, oh, yeah, young man, you come out, I give you something, go and start something. True entrepreneurship defies common wisdom, which is what? It is not about the novelty of the idea. Selling fish is just getting fish from one location and transporting it to Kampala. There's nothing unique about that. It's not about a sophisticated business plan. And what I'm mentioning here, please, if you are listening anywhere in Africa, go and pick an entrepreneur you know. Check whether they had 70-page business plan. It wasn't there. But that young man had a plan that was basic and practical. It is not about a special amount of startup capital. This young man wanted to just enjoy his money and be a reasonable young man on campus. He said, no, this capital now can become my business money. No special amount. No waiting for government. No waiting for auntie. No waiting for your aunties. You have what it takes to start. It's also not about a special business location. Wherever you are, in a desert, be it Libya, be it Tunisia, you can start a business there. It's not even about going into a sector of your professional education. Yasin was educated in sociology and he got an upper second degree. But he came and said, I'm not even going to look for a job. He didn't apply. Straight, he went and concentrated on his fish. Today he has diversified. The game changer here is starting as soon as possible. Learn on the job. When graduates are infused, that's another lesson. When graduates are given the right business mindset, here's the message. They create businesses that formalize faster and create quality jobs, and they diversify faster and more in a more organized way. What matters is master of technical skills of the enterprise, working on efficiency and quality, and then managing your finances. How do you do that? These are the foundational principles that I want to close with for the youth in Africa who are watching here. Number one, develop a good business idea or a business concept which solves a problem, meets and fulfills need, offers a better customer service, or simplifies life. Do it, and we start paying you. Two, start where you are, the way you are. Do not wait to be taken to another city, to another location. Where you are, start selling the solution that has been defined in the first bullet. And that business that you are going to run should be within your terms, your capital, your skills, your time. Yasin knew on weekends is free. He bought a taxi and travels 120 kilometers and comes back within his time, within his capital. That's what he did. But as he was doing that, he was a little bit isolated by colleagues. So what he did, he boosted his interest by looking at the contribution of his business to improvement of humanity. When people are waiting for his fish, a restaurant owner, a family for a wedding, that makes Yasin a very happy boy. Next, the business should be possible to push into liquidity, into break-even operation as soon as possible without waiting for anybody. If you start a business where you are now saying, I have now reached this stage, now I don't have capital, you chose a wrong size of a business. Scale it down to something that can start giving you money. Ignore public opinion. Why? The moment results begin to come through, those who were laughing at Yasin when he was traveling over the weekend to go and bring fish, then he finishes selling fish on Sunday and returns to the university when he's smelling his fish. Today, they can't talk like that. The young man is driving a beautiful saloon car. The young man is counting dollars every day. The young man is checking on his accounts on people who have not paid the full deliveries on dollar terms. The conversation will change. Do not mind about the public opinion. Foundation principle number 3. Assess the key success factors of your type of business. Why is this important? It's important because no matter what type of a business you are going to start, an example already exists. Somebody has done it. And please, if you're a young person, if you're a beginner in business, do not try to go for something totally new. Go for something where somebody has been there before. And then master the minimum entry requirements of that sector. How do you do that? Talk to an existing owner. Yasin had to understand a man who used to buy fish from Buyende and bring to Kampala, and the master that was doing it. Talk to a key staff of that business. They are skilled, that's why they are called the key staff. Talk to suppliers of such a business. And then talk to the subject or sector experts. But remember, do not take too long to start, because the enemy of great is being good. So do not wait to become great enough before you start. Innovate to overcome hurdles associated with competition, limited capital, but be ready to do several bridging business opportunities before you can go into something big. And at all times, deliver a solution which is beyond what you are paid for by the customer. That slide is the centerpiece of success or failure. Now, that's the closing slide there. Keep learning. Today you have started a business that has been able to generate modest income. The moment Yasin begins to get money going beyond the traditional $100 he was getting per day and begins going to thousands, you can easily fail to continue learning and improving. If you see yourself stopping to learn, your satisfaction levels have come too soon. So keep sharpening the key success factors non-stop by learning daily. And whatever you learn, this is not about academics. Apply them. Learn again, apply again, learn again, apply again, and let the skills keep on growing. The last bullet is about evidence that you are making financial literacy part of your journey. Any growth of a business solely based on external resources denies one opportunity to build your own business muscles. You need to be able to say, I've been growing at this pace, but I want to go to EcoBank, so that instead of growing at 10%, I should be growing at 40%. The more limited the resources at the beginning, that's why we spoil some of these young people. We overshower them with everything they need. The more limited the resources at the beginning, the better you appreciate every resource. Today, Yasin will want to know, where did $1 go? Like Annette will never close a branch of a bank without balancing to the last dollar. Yasin now does the same. Preserve capital and reinvest at least 50% of the profit. If you start doing that, you are headed for glory. You made a profit. Did you eat it all? If you ate it all, it doesn't matter how big that profit was. You are growing. You are not going to go anywhere. All personal expenses, no matter what you want to enjoy, whether it's a Mercedes Benz, whether it's a beautiful house, it must fit within 15% of the profit. The moment it goes outside the 50% of the profit, you are not going to create a vibrant enterprise. And finally, set a goal, accomplish it, set a higher one, accomplish it, and set another one, non-stop. Yasin today is saying, today he's supplying fish to Kenya. He wants to go to Rwanda, he wants to go to Tanzania, he wants to start now seasoning the fish and go to Europe. He's setting a goal, accomplishing, setting another one. That's the closing quotation there. Life is 10% what happens to you. Today you are youth, that's 10%. 90% of life is how you respond to that state of being a youth. So do not blame your being a youth. Do not blame the nature of your parents. Do not blame the level of your education. That is 10%. How you respond to that status or that condition is what matters. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to have been part of this. And please, the continent of Africa is a great continent. Thank you very much indeed.